Welcome back to Dum-Dums and Dragons, where improvisers who've never roleplayed before journey into the world of Dungeons and Dragons. I am the Grand Wizard Bukake, your host. Our heroes are battling through the Bastion of Failure and things are getting complicated. Quinny came up with a plan to attack some drow that fell apart immediately. Juniper accidentally swallowed Quinny's Eye of True Sight, and Butthole smashed every enemy he could find with his hammer and Goblin Jr. Can they survive a battle around a glowing crystal? Find out next on Dum-Dums and Dragons.
Quinny, as the drow falls beneath your blades, you see a swirling combat around a floating, glowing crystal in a large central chamber that you realize must be directly beneath the audience chamber in Central Hall above. You can see trolls engaged with drow and a heavily armored orc as they kind of battle on what looks to almost be a circular observation platform around this massive glowing blue crystal. No one seems to have noticed y'all yet because they are busy fighting each other. What do you do?
I'm going to mage hand the door closed.
Wise man.
Just gently.
The door closes. The sounds of combat continue outside, but the three of you have a moment to catch your breath.
Like, Butthole's going to fart and smell it and cast Cure Wounds on himself at level 1 because he needs some healing after that.
Yep, fair enough.
Pincushion experience. Say, okay, so clearly there's a war outside. What I'm thinking we might need, just to do quick math while I talk, 5 plus 13 is 18, plus 3 is 21. Great. So obviously the trolls want to eat us, so they're fucking terrible and there's no negotiating there. These guys yelled for help, which makes me think mercenaries. I'm kind of used to hearing those kind of cries, and mercenaries can be negotiated with if you kill their employer. The question is, do we think, like, just shoot the trolls from a distance and try to block the door because we can fight them multiple on one if they come at us, or what do we want to do?
Troll that we most recently encountered had hired mercenaries. So
Yes,
I don't know if it's a deal gone wrong between mercenaries and employer. I don't know who that armored orc is with.
Yeah, so, but I'm saying we got a limited amount of time before somebody wins and we can't affect the outcome. So I think anyone's better than the trolls who scream for power and wear their skins.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm also fine to let them fight it out and then just take out the survivors, honestly.
But then if they get control of the crystal and it turns out to be really scary, like, we don't know what that does.
What if we just break the crystal?
Well,
we
don't
don't know
need
what
the
it
crystal.
does.
Mm.
Might be holding this whole place together. I don't know.
That could be fueling the undead zone.
Yeah, we want to keep that up. That's the whole reason this place is so appealing. Hey, can you pass me back my eye?
Yeah, well, just give me a minute. And I'm just turn to the side.
What?
Roll me
that? Why is she doing that?
Roll me a con save.
Well, she had it in her mouth while she fell down the stairs.
11.
The idea was it to put it in your mouth.
Well, we didn't know how to turn it on. You didn't tell anyone how to do anything because you're terrible at planning.
It does not come up.
Did you tell her to put it in her mouth?
We were trying to figure out how to activate it. I figured if it was inside your eye socket and it worked, then logically you put it inside a wet place and it'll work.
Look,
So
I can't.
two people not great at planning then, huh?
Look,
I don't know. Mine was fine until she fell down the friggin' stairs. I said
Mine
she
was
should stand
too
there
until
and
she
she'd
fell
tell
down the stairs. Why don't we come together on this, brother to brother, and blame Juniper?
all right. Look, I didn't know what to do with it. So look, there are probably still some radishes back there. Just let me pound a few back, and then
No, giving
I'm
yourself.
sure within 2 hours it'll
Juniper,
turn
we are
one
in a
end or
war
the
zone.
other.
You're not giving yourself food poisoning while we go into combat. That is the world's worst idea. You'll poop it out later. We don't need it right now.
You're keeping it in a safe place.
Sorry.
Honestly, maybe later we can kind of, see where the ceiling is on this thing's ability to be activated, because it's in a wet place. That fills the criteria for Butthole. So, it's fine. It's fine. We'll get it back. It's fine. It might hurt coming out either way, so I apologize in advance for that, but you put it in your mouth.
Where was I supposed to
seems
put it? Just for future knowledge.
In your hand. I just wanted you to put it in your hand.
You didn't do anything in her hand.
I don't know how it works. I put it in my eye and it worked.
See, I stand by the fact that he's terrible at planning. But here's
How
the
does it
thing.
come with instructions.
I
I don't want you to pluck out your own eye.
I'm going to open this door in 10 seconds if you don't listen to me. I think we open the door and we set up a barricade and we just shoot trolls from a distance. And if somebody comes at us through the door, we can stomp them up close.
Fine.
I'm okay with that.
Perfect. And he just like shoves the barricade over so they can ram it against the door once it's open. And he's like, open the door when you're ready, Quinny. We'll jam this in place and start shooting.
Mage hand. Door
Right.
opens.
So rather than rolling out, you guys just like arbitrarily taking pot shots for the next like 22 minutes. I think it's safe to say you're aiming just for the trolls, or are you aiming for the drow and the orcs as well?
I'd say just for the trolls, unless the drow or orcs start turning to fight us, because we don't know who they are.
Okay. They definitely notice you. It's definitely of concern. But your additional firepower definitely kind of turns the tide in favor of the drow and the orc. So the 4 drow and the orc eventually manage to like take down the 2 trolls. And heaving, with exhaustion from the battle. The orc quickly confers with the drow, and they close ranks around him as he raises an arm high and then punches through the chest of one of the troll bodies. The drow have their weapons out, and they're clearly like creating a defensive line facing you. And the orc kind of rises behind them and just takes a big bite out of the heart.
Hey, what are you guys doing? We want to team up maybe.
And the orc just mutters something to one of the drow, who nods and darts away towards a very ornate door at the north wall of this chamber.
This is starting to feel dumb, Butthole.
Yeah, I think we just killed him. And I think Butthole will just summon a spiritual hammer to hit the central orc.
Okay. Roll for initiative, please.
Ooh, nat 20.
Oh, yeah. 16 for Quinny.
12 for Butthole.
All right. And we've got my side of things. Oof, that's not great. All right. First up is Juniper.
Now, do these look like cold creatures?
They do not.
They do not.
And sorry, Ryan, I will let you get your opportunity attack in. Laura, keep figuring out what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Ryan, taking an opportunity attack. So Ryan, go ahead.
Great. So the hammer will swing. My good old hammer boy. That is a 21 to hit.
That'll hit.
Nice. And that will do 16 force damage.
Oof.
To the orc.
All right. Sound hit to the orc. He cries out as he stumbles back, flecks of heart flying from his enraged mouth. And he just like clamps the visor on his helmet down. It's like a proper like Warhammer orc, like jagged jaw thing. So it doesn't fully protect his face, but just makes him look badass. And he'll like point at you guys and yell something in drow. All right, Juniper.
Okay, so they're all kind of still a little bit clustered together, right?
Oh, they're very clustered together around these dead trolls.
That's lovely. So basically, I'm just going to aim at a spot in like the center of them, and just say, "Storm of ice, protect me!" And we're going to have an ice storm that just rains down on everyone for
a I've lived through a couple of those in Ontario. You're really just gonna fuck with infrastructure for several days.
Man, that poor drow running away is gonna have such a rough drive home.
Yeah, he's just gonna do the Flintstones like his legs just sliding out beneath him.
This castle's Wi-Fi is about to go down.
Oh man, you had Wi-Fi back then? Damn, that's
Not
exciting.
anymore.
So deck saving throw for
All around, I assume.
Yep.
And what's the spread on this? Like how
20 feet radius.
Oh yeah, that'll get them all.
Yeah.
All right. So Dex
DC 16.
Not surprise you to know the massive orc in armor is not very dexterous. So he fails. And the drow.
Elves.
So one gets a 20. I'm sorry, DC what, Laura?
16.
16. 3 of them save, but the one running does not.
Okay.
Because he is running.
So let me just add this up. 9, 10, 11, 12. So those who saved. Okay, so anyone who failed takes 9 bludgeoning and 12 cold damage. And then anyone who failed takes 4 bludgeoning and 6 cold damage.
Those who passed, you meant?
Pass. Those who
4 and
passed.
6. Yeah.
Those who
Take 13
passed.
each, right? Take 13 in total each for the ones who passed?
Yes.
Yes.
9 and 4. 13. Yeah.
Thank you. No, sorry. 4 and 6. So, oh
10.
my God.
So 10.
10.
They take 10.
10 if they passed. Got it.
I even wrote this down because I was like,
No, it's all good. We ain't no mathematicians here. All right.
Notorious for that.
So basically what's going to happen is the area they're in is becoming difficult terrain.
They get slowed down in it too.
Yeah.
It's very good. All right. So, ice begins to fall, and the orc in common just yells like, "Grubbish! Damn it! I thought we came inside to avoid this weather bullshit." But you can tell he's yelling it to himself because the drow do not speak common, or at least they might be able to understand it, but they don't speak it. All right, cool, good round. That brings us to the orc. So he's been hit by a hammer. He's just been frosted. Kind of like breaks the frost off his armor. He throws back the rest of the heart, and you see him crack his neck either way, or roll his shoulders, and he seems to get a bit healthier. And
He's starting his turn in the ice storm.
Is it just difficult terrain, or does he take damage, Laura?
Is it
Storm
No,
past,
I mean,
it's
they've
just
already
terrain now.
taken
Oh,
damage.
okay.
Yeah, so now
I
it's
thought it was an
difficult terrain.
It's
ongoing
just
thing.
difficult terrain,
Okay.
and I'll tell till the end of my next turn. So
Sure.
Got it.
So he is going to that's interesting. Okay. So he just kind of like looks down carefully and then does like a very careful like do walk where he's just like, penguin stepping across the ice until he's free of the ice. And then he just like suddenly like fucking full on runs. You notice that he is aggressive. So as a bonus action, he moves his speed towards a hostile creature, which was him getting off the ice and moving forward. And then he's going to leap across the gap that the crystal is in, using kind of his gauntleted hand to scrape along the side as he wall runs. And he's going to attempt to leap at... you're all still behind the barricade, correct?
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, we haven't come.
So
out
he's
with
just
it.
going to like fucking bum rush the barricade. Interesting. Okay.
Perfect.
So-
He's right where we want him.
All right.
Just reach over and stab.
He fails his athletics check to clear the breach. So instead he like wall runs along the crystal, jumps, doesn't quite make it. So he just grabs the edge of the enclosure of the sort of like hovering crystal and just awkwardly clambers up and stands there. So he's about 10 feet away from you guys now, but standing there just roaring at you in rage because he blew it on his check. Brings us to Quinny.
This crystal's floating. Can I tell how high up it's floating? Like what? There's negative
So
space
it's-
below this floating crystal.
Yeah,
right?
so it's
on
big.
a platform.
So basically think of it as this is a large circular room.
Mhm.
In the center of the room, there's sort of a bowl, like probably about a 12-foot wide bowl. The crystal itself is massive. Like this thing is, probably 20 feet tall, 15 feet wide, just sort of suspended and turning, a beautiful blue crystal. There's a railing around it. You can see the door to the north that the drow who's like doing the Flintstone run is stuck trying to get to. And then you've got the other three back with the troll corpses. Behind them is another doorway similar to the one you're standing in that seems to lead beyond to some other space. The orc has run from the far side of this enclosure, tried to leap across it and failed. So he's just clambered up onto your side of the circular railing around the central crystal. But yes, there is space below the crystal and space above the crystal.
Can I tell how far the drop is below the crystal? Like he's clambered up onto...
It's not hugely far. It's probably about maybe a 10-foot drop. But on a like, think of it as almost a skateboard bowl.
Right. Okay.
So it's like an empty pool. So if you're thinking about how much damage you could do by knocking him into it, it would likely be less than you would want.
Yeah.
Because either he'll bounce off the crystal or he'll slide down the interior. Still might do damage, but it won't be like, it's not a sheer drop.
Right. Might just be beneficial to keep him down there in a bowl.
We've established he's not particularly dexterous, and the armor is really weighing him down. So yeah, if you can blast him off, probably not.
I'll fire off an Eldritch Blast. I'll fire both at him to just push him back over the edge.
Sure.
8 plus 8, 16. 10 plus 8, 18.
18. Yeah, that'll do it. He's only wearing chainmail, so.
Nice.
Does the 16 hit as well?
Yes, 16 is on the nose.
Hits. Okay. 4 and 7 for damage, so 11.
11 damage. All right.
Gets pushed back 20 feet.
Yeah, he hits the back and just flips up and over, and just hear like a not out of fear, but just sheer frustration, like as he just hits the railing and flips up and over, doing like a flaily slide as he falls backward and slides down. His great axe like scraping along the edge as he falls.
I want to leave the storage room. I want to come out through the barricade and use my cunning action to basically dash to pivot in the same direction as the door and try to beat the drow to it.
Mm.
Like run to it or maintain it. Yeah, all right. Roll me acrobatics, please.
7 plus some things. 22. Acrobatics.
You definitely beat him to the door. He is still slip sliding away.
Okay. I just want to kind of play goalkeeper there at the door. If it's important for them to get through there, I don't want them to get through there.
As you approach the door, you notice it's ajar. And behind, you can hear the sound of fire on metal and sparks.
Like a smith, like a forge?
Like a blowtorch.
Like a blowtorch. Okay.
Ooh.
I think I'm completely tapped out for action, so I guess I just hear that and I'll have to deal with that later.
All good. Butthole.
All right. Butthole is going to raise Moonlight Bringer over his head and fart, and it will spark off of his hammer, and he will yell, "Blue flame!" And he is going to shoot the drow that is running towards Quinny. So it is a difficult terrain and needs to pass a DC 16 dex save.
Oh, no. All right, so that's a disadvantage. And, I mean, I'm going to roll the dice, but do I really need to roll the dice? 3 and 5. So, no, I did not need to roll the dice. Yeah, you hit.
Great. It will take...
That's a really fucking good combo. Ice Storm and then Blue Flame.
Yeah. 12 radiant damage from Blue Flame. And then he will just, as the hammer comes down, he just aims it towards where the spiritual hammer is, and then just like nudges the hammer over towards the running guy. And the spiritual hammer just follows the path and swings over to hit the flea. Like,
yeah, he's slips sliding away. He gets hit by Blue Flame. He falls down. He's like getting up. He's like Bambi on the ice. He's just having a hell of a time. Then finally stands up and just breathes and is like, and the spiritual hammer slams into him from the side.
It's a 25 to hit from the spiritual hammer.
Yeah.
And then it will be doing...
Motherfucker's got AC 15. Like,
and it'll do 17 force damage.
All right. So he gets up, breathes. He's fine. hammer just hits him and he just inverts around it, just cracks in half, and his body ragdolls off it like a bad video game animation and just slides along the ice before hitting the stairs at Quinny's feet.
Quinny was like ready to intercept, and I think just watching him get crumpled, Quinny's like, oh, all right.
Yeah, he just like bumps up against your feet.
A little.
Yeah. He is very dead. He had exactly 17 HP remaining. Butthole, anything else you want to do?
I think he will advance into the area. Staying in the barricade when Quinny's available isn't good. So like he's got to kind of, to use MMORPG terms, he needs to tank a little bit. So I think it's like vault over the barricade, jog out to the circular area and just yell like, everybody who surrenders doesn't have to die.
And you hear just like confused yelling in Drow. Which brings us to the Drow.
Moonhammer doesn't exist in hell anymore, which means all your souls are going to be mine.
And you just hear more yelling back, being like, what the fuck are you talking about? Also, I don't know if you're just using this for intimidation, but it's worth noting Moonhammer usurped hell. She is not, in fact, a god of hell naturally.
Not anymore.
So will they be yours? I think Butthole can believe it, but
he's got to have something in this realm. Otherwise, he's just floating around. No, he gets their souls. That's going to be his decision for now. He can be wrong.
Great. Okay, so the three remaining Drow, one of them drops to his knees and starts digging into the other troll corpse. The other two, one of them, she yells something towards the door with Quinny, and draws her bow. She's going to open fire on you, Quinny. What is your AC?
17.
That's not going to matter. All right, one of them goes through. Two of them are complete dog shit. The one that goes through will be 9 points of damage.
Okay.
So she pings you with an arrow. The other guy, he's getting pretty concerned by all of this. But then you see him kind of stop and lower his weapon a bit and actually just kind of turn and look behind him. And you can't see his eyes anymore, but you can see him kind of do that thing where he kind of straightens up a bit and starts to walk backward from the door behind him. Which brings us to top of the round, Juniper.
So can I just get a summary of where people are? Because you know me, I can't track.
Yeah, no, it's all good. The orc is in the bottom of the bowl, beneath the crystal.
Just being like,
Yeah, just being like real mad down there. And beginning on his turn, he'll be getting the awkward guy in chainmail tries to climb a wall situation. Cool. You've got two Drow. Wait, am I missing a Drow? Right. No, I'm not. So there's the three Drow still by the troll corpses. One is digging into the troll corpse.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is looking behind him. So you're standing on the east wall. He's looking at the west wall door in horror. The other one, she has opened fire on Butthole. They are across the crystal chamber from you. So you don't have any like a direct line of sight. It's kind of like a leaning around the crystal kind of situation. Meanwhile, Quinny is near the north door, which is ajar and has the sounds of sparks and fire on metal that you can't hear, but he can. But no one is coming out of that one just yet.
Okay.
And behind you is the cold storage. You're still behind the barricade.
Yeah.
So essentially, from your perspective, looking straight forward, Quinny is to your right.
Yeah.
The orc is forward and down. Past the crystal, there are three Drow doing something.
Butthole standing in front of the crystal, so don't shoot through him to hit the Drow.
Yes, I won't do that.
No fireballs, Juniper, who can't cast fireball.
But I mean, Moonbeam goes straight down.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just invoke the shit out of that. With the light of the moon, protect me.
Yeah.
And I think she kind of says it like that because it's very like she's feeling really confident and like
no, just matter of fact.
Yeah, it's very matter of fact. she believes. Just comes right down.
Cool.
Just bright light on those drow.
I need a dex save from all of you.
What? Wait, what?
It's an 18 for Butthole.
Mm-hmm.
And
Juniper, what's your spellcast DC?
16.
Okay.
dirty 20 for Quinny.
Okay.
10.
10?
Yeah.
Okay. Juniper, as you summon the Moonbeam, it arcs down directly down through the crystal, which you are surprised and alarmed to discover is in fact a prismatic crystal. So as the Moonbeam hits it, your Moonbeam splinters. It still shoots down and through and hits the orc, but it also sends arcing rays of the moon throughout the chamber, like a cool, deadly disco ball.
That's awesome.
So Ryan and Tyler, you guys will take half damage because you passed. Juniper, unfortunately, you failed. So the cover will explode, and you'll take full damage off this. And let's see what happens with everyone else in the room. So the drow. Oof. All
Just so
three of the
everyone
drow
knows-
get hit.
Just so everyone knows, I'm using evasion to take no damage on a success.
Perfect.
Nice.
All right. So Laura, let me know what your damage is. And
Well, luckily I didn't cast it at a higher level.
I Resident Evil
Jesus.
laser hallway my way out of that. Yeah.
one of the rare times the movie gave the game something to play with, which is very rare.
Well, we got lucky. It's only 8 damage.
I mean,
All right.
it did more to the enemy than to us, so it could have been more damage and been okay too.
Yeah.
So 4 for us friendlies who passed, right?
Yep.
And I hit myself with Moonbeam, right?
You did. Surely did.
And that breaks my concentration. So the Moonbeam.
Well, you rolled a save for concentration.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I do. Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to say you failed to dodge.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
You succeed
Okay.
for concentration.
Yeah, because your concentration roll would be like, what, DC 8 with the damage? It's not much.
Yeah. A 10. Well, no.
Also,
yeah,
I will say the crystal is very slowly rotating, but not at such a rate that like it's going to be throwing random beams everywhere. So now that it's through, it's very much like an Indiana Jones puzzle where there's just like moonbeams everywhere. You can avoid them. It will slow everyone's movement to make sure you're not getting hit by them, but like they're just slowly turning. So as long as you're careful, you can now avoid them.
Nice.
Oh,
And
that's
the
fun.
difficult terrain is gone, right, Laura? It expires
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
end of your turn?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It all melted.
Cool. Fuck, man, that was a hell of a round.
Oh, boy.
Orc, standing at the bottom, just being fucking blasted by the moonbeam. He takes damage at the beginning of his turn or at the end
Yeah.
of his turn. Yeah.
Start.
All right. So roll that damage.
Does he get a dex every turn, Laura? Or is it just the first
he
one?
gets to.
The dex was just for the
he get-
splintering. He won't
he has to make a
save against
con
this.
save.
Oh, con save? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. No, he fails by 1. Shit.
So he takes 9 radiant damage.
God damn it. All right. So standing underneath the beam of the moon, he just like howls to the sky, and you can see the moonbeam kind of like eating away at his flesh as it does. But his flesh seems to be healing over almost as fast as it's being burned. It would seem the troll heart has given him remarkable powers.
The hell?
And he's going to begin his long, unfortunate climb to victory.
To say, as the guy who's standing over and can see him healing up like that, I'm going to yell to Quinny, kill anybody who tries to eat a troll heart.
So
Like A-OK from Quinny at the end of the hall.
so I'm going to say he manages to climb up the bowl and like hoist himself up. That said, Ryan, you're like at the edge of the bowl, right?
Yeah.
So you can take an attack of opportunity as he tries to get himself up and over.
And I will. I mean, it was a 12, so I tried.
All right. So you just like swing the hammer, just catches it with a hand, slams it against uses it as a handhold, and then like hoists himself up.
That's intimidating.
And just kind of nods to you, kind of as like a thanks, man. and then pulls his great axe off with one hand. And he'll be ready for combat next round. Quinny. The moonbeam is just sort of like blasted off the side of your Illithid cloak. As you evade.
Did a big spinning twirl or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'd just like to very quickly look through this door behind me that's open. Okay. Just have that information in my back pocket before I take any action.
Cool. Make a dex save, please.
14.
All right, 1 second. All right, so you'll take half off this.
I'll use my reaction right now since it's my turn to take no damage.
Okay. So as you look through the door, you're just hit in the face with fire. You pull your hood down over your face and just feel the flames kind of like burn against it. As you release the hood, you see a heavy like winter like cloak clad. Think like very much like a classic Inuit like snowsuit. Mm-hmm. Clad gnome, just holding burning hands out in front of them. And we're wearing those like little slitted sun goggles that you wear in the Arctic to provide snow glare. Right. And you hear her say in common, it's like, boss, we got company. Inside, you can see a massive vault door set against the wall, in front of which is a goblin wearing welding goggles and using an arcane wand to kind of try and burn his way through the locks. Next to him are a human and a really fucking rough-looking elf with a quarterstaff, and the human who's a bit of like think like a young Brad Pitt, so not like a classy Brad Pitt, but kind of like young rough and tumble Brad Pitt. Just goes, "Oh shit, yeah, they're coming in, boss. Hurry it up." And he reaches into his waistband and pulls out 2 flintlock pistols and points them at the door. Now you're just peeking in, so you're able to pull back fairly quickly and bring the door with you. But that is what is going on back there.
Okay. They sent 1 drow to that door. Just trying to do the mental math of like, is this another party of adventurers or are they working together with the drow? You want to roll an insight check? Sure. If they sent 1, I'm inclined to think that they're working together. 11 plus insight won't be much. It's just straight 11.
11? Yeah, that seems fair.
Yeah. Okay. So my friends are like way down at the other end of this room. It would be foolish for me to try and get in solo, or even try to engage with these people, even in conversation. So I will run away from the door towards the drow and try and finish these guys off before we can all move together on the door. Cool.
I assume based on what Butthole yelled, you're going to aim for the one who is currently digging a troll heart out.
Yeah. If he's rooting around in a troll's chest, I'm going to...
Cool. And you're going for a melee attack? Like a leaping...
Yeah, I'm going to summon forth Frostbite and try to attack with that.
Okay. Amazing. Go ahead and roll your attack.
Got a question for you, Tom. If he's digging through a troll heart,
yes, 100%. Yep. And I would give them an opportunity to attack against you, but she's got a bow.
So I'm too close?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're leaping through the air, like she already took her action. I don't really buy the like ranged opportunity to attack. I think she'd have to ready an action to shoot you doing this. So yeah, you're good to launch.
Okay, so we'll use the 16 plus 12 on the first hit, which is 28.
Yeah.
Yep.
And on the second hit, that's still advantage, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not trying to fight back. He's just digging. The orc is a little faster. Like he just Kali Mod the heart out. This guy's like trying to dig through a rib cage. Like it's very awkward. He doesn't really know what he's doing, and it's a lot like . Okay,
so it's a 29 on the second hit.
by all means.
Okay. Nice. 2 6s showing up here. So that is 12 plus 8, which is 20, plus another 8. So that's 28. Plus 7 is 35 damage. Okay. That's the first strike. That's also sneak attack. So now I'm just attacking with 2d6 plus 7.
Yeah, now you're just attacking with 2d6 plus 7.
4 plus 7, 11 follow-up damage.
Tell me how you kill this guy. Because you already had killed him, but you just keep hitting.
I think he... I think because I did sneak attack on him, it's that thing where he's like hunched over the corpse trying to root around through it. And the pain of my blade piercing his back and coming out of his chest causes him to kind of like arc his chest out. And then I withdraw.
Full platoon.
Yeah.
Just arms out. Like...
Yeah. And then I draw and just once more in for good measure. And then I draw it out again. And that's my attack.
All right. Fair enough. You platoon him. He falls away. And, Quinny, as a thief, you're always good at keeping your eyes out for opportunities. And you see one in the, very roughshod, carved out hollow of this troll's chest. You see the exposed heart. What do you do?
I'll pick it up, but I won't eat it. I'm not going to eat it. I know Ryan's angry that I'm going to eat it. No, it's like I got it here. I'm terrible at whistling, but hey, you looking for this? And I'll throw it down into the bowl.
All right.
Anybody who wants it has to climb down and then clamber back out anyway.
Amazing. You toss it through the air, and you watch as all the drow kind of track it, and the heart arcs through the air, leaving an icy chill in your hand before hitting the moonbeam and disintegrating.
All right. Well, fuck you guys anyway. I did that on purpose.
This episode of Dum-Dums and Dragons features the voices of Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter, Laura Elizabeth at EL Hamstring on Twitter, and our DM Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter. This episode's sound was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and Dum-Dums and Dragons logo is by Decapitated Markers at Decapitated Marker on Twitter. Our theme songs are And Now for That Massive Coronary and Skipping Through the Orchestra Pit Part 1 by Peter Gresser, and our ad music is No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR, all available at freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum-Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. But most importantly, we've got merchandise at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, or you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDUMBDICE. And tune in next week for more Dum-Dums and Dragons. Dum-Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time. Christian Menicola, the half-blind prophet. Christopher Little, Sue One, George Dolby. One True Artistry, Orion Birchfield. Lord Abradovic, Noel Lewis, Scott Garland, Anthony Griffin, Benjamin V, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Cade Peters, Richard Cranium, Anna Zed, Eric Williams, Logan, Fire Unfriendly, Acrix, Cameron Ezel, Grandma Likes D&D, Alan, Austin Nut Powers Fry, Stabby Stranger, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.